if Conte were to go in the summer because he feels that he can't have another season like this, where do Tottenham go? That's my biggest worry for Tottenham, because they've tried it all. They've done the best managers in the world. They've done the best coaches in the world. They've done the superstar names. They've done the young progressive coaches. The only one that obviously I could imagine would be a popular appointment, which would get some heat off Levy in the summer, would be Mauricio Pochettino, of course, who celebrated his 50th birthday yesterday. But with Poch, I don't know whether it's right. Would it be the summer that they could get him back? I'm sure they'd try if Conte were to go. There's some suggestions that perhaps if he were to leave PSG, or PSG were to remove him from his role, that he'd have some kind of gardening leave, which would then make it difficult. But whether Tottenham see, PSG see Tottenham as a rival is a whole other thing. There's obviously been talk about him going to Man U, but I get the impression that Man U and Ten Hag are maybe the fit that we'll end up seeing, perhaps. I just don't know. And then my other fear with Pochettino coming back is that he's going to walk back into a situation that's not really far removed from the one he left when he was sacked in 2019. Why come back to that? I don't know. I mean, he's had a bit of a rude awakening in PSG, I think. I think he's realised, whoa, this is not the kind of club that I'm used to. And, building a tight-knit group. And we all said it back when the Real Madrid rumours were around with Poch. Like, he needs to create this family atmosphere. You can't do that at a club like PSG. It's not how it works. There's too many other people. There's too much entourage. There's too many people hanging around. And it's not a tight-knit family atmosphere. There's too many superstars, probably. But yeah, and I mean, if Poch isn't coming back, then who? You're looking at restarting the whole process. There's no real big name managers. The other big name managers probably out there other than Conte and Mourinho are probably Klopp and Guardiola, and they're not coming to Tottenham anytime soon. So then you're looking for another progressive young manager. Obviously last summer they looked at Graham Potter, but Graham Potter, from what I understand, didn't want to get engaged in any kind of talks with Tottenham because he felt that actually Brighton were more stable. And you look at what's happened since, he was right. Nuno lasted 4 months and was sacked. So he was quite right. He made the best choice, I think, for him. I do think he's a good coach, and I do think he would actually be really good at Tottenham. But, whether a year on they could convince him of that, I don't know. But I do. I really worry at where it'll be and how the fans would react and how much time the fans would give to people. I think the only thing he can do, Daniel Levy, is to throw everything he can at keeping Conte happy. I think that's what it has to be, because it could really be the last roll of the dice for Levy in terms of trying to make Tottenham an elite club in this moment. It may be that in the future it could happen again, but I think Conte is his ticket to becoming a top club. They've got all the infrastructure. Conte is the man that can coach a team into being one of the best, but he has to have a standard of player, a quality of player and squad. He said it himself, I need to be able to make subs or rotate my team, and the player coming in is the same quality. And that's not the case at Tottenham. And that's why, I've seen people criticising his timing of substitutions and things like that, but I think it's because he doesn't trust some of the players. I don't think he is to be a like-for-like replacement. I mean, on Tuesday night, you've got 2 or 3 injuries and the bench has got all the young players on it. He pretty much only had Steven Bergwijn as a recognised attacking game-changing player. And then you're looking at having to bring on wing-backs to try and change things, like the Sessegnons and Emersons. And it's there laid out. It's an undeniable truth. It is in front of Daniel Levy's eyes. It's no longer the manager. Get away from this thought of it's always the manager. It's the players. And the recruitment side has to be right. But not only that, the profile has to change. By all means, it's going to be a window where I think we're going to have to see a fair few changes. I think we are. I think you're going to have to see 4, 5, maybe 6 signings. And if that's the case, by all means, sign 2 or 3 of those, maybe 4, that have to be that young profile that can only get better, these young talented players. but also get one or two winners, experienced players that Conte can bring in and know they are ready to do the job straight away. You know, there are players out there. There will be. And there will be players that Conte asks for. Because, you know, it's ridiculous. The seesaw nature of this Tottenham team right now. They can still do something. They can. If they can just sort it out. You know, they 7th place still. They beat Everton on Monday night. And they're just bang. They're straight in there. Because obviously their last Premier League game was a win. So they win 2 back-to-back Premier League games. And then suddenly they're just there. But there's no confidence right now in believing that they can make top 4 because of this win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. And at some point, that becomes a loss-loss. That becomes a draw-loss, loss-draw-loss. That was easier in my head than it was to say. But it's so difficult right now with Tottenham and the way they are. And I think the stability has to come from above. You know, maybe Levy would have told Conte that in their talks last week. Maybe he would have said to him, look, we're going to do it this summer. I promise we will. Because, you know, there's only so much hoping that Conte and the Tottenham fans can do. Ultimately, they need to see that the man at the top is going to try and make things happen. The money has to be found. There has to be... If you have these aspirations of being an elite club, you have to act like one. And just... Honestly, huge. I don't want it to be another summer where I'm writing about a farcical managerial search. I want it to be a summer where I'm writing about exciting things that are happening at Tottenham. And oh my goodness, they're actually stepping it up a level. And it is the big summer that we all kind of hoped it would be. Because if it's the managerial search, I may lose my mind. I really may. So just to sign off, I'm recording this earlier in the day, and there have been some little rumblings that the Super League might be relaunched again today, or certainly notification served. From those I've spoken to, a few people around Tottenham, they've kind of been a bit like, ooh, we don't know anything about this. So I would suggest, I think some of the other suggestions from reports seem to be that Tottenham aren't going to be involved. It's a weird time. The reading of the room from this group of clubs that are kind of doing the Super League has been so bad. Last time, obviously, it was announced slap bang in the middle of the pandemic when everyone's struggling financially. If it was to be announced today, they're doing it during a war going on. It's like, oh, come on, guys. What is wrong with you? You know, it'll just be a mess. I mean, I don't want to go into it too much because we don't really know what's happening at this point. There may be, as I'm filming this, stuff might have come out. There might be more information. So I don't want to end up talking about stuff that isn't the case or stuff that is. But yeah, I mean, there was all contract stuff. It was quite messy legally, the whole Super League thing as well.